Hospitals across the southeast of England has begun cancelling operations with some struggling to cope with the number of COVID patients they had in the spring. It comes that the government has confirmed tonight that it concerned about the new variant of COVID-19 amid fears it could be making the virus more infectious and harder to contain. Today, the Prime Minister has said hoping to avoid a third national lockdown in England, but acknowledged that the rates of infection has increased very much over recent weeks. New data suggests the UK's R number, the reproduction rate of coronavirus, is on the rise again. Last week, it was thought to be between 1.9 and 1. It's now estimated to be between 1.1 and 1.2, and anything about 1 means that the virus is growing. Here's our Health Editor Hugh Pim. Routine operations were going ahead at this hospital in the South England today, but increasingly NHS managers across the system are considered to postponements. More COVID patients are coming in. It's a challenge to find enough beds at causing problems in it as well. We are now at a really dangerous point. We could tap into fighting it incredibly difficult to manage. Now we have got crowded departments with COVID as the additional burden, which is a really scary and challenging place to be. And you can see that we are increasingly getting ambulance queuing outside the departments. One COVID patient at this hospital had made a plea for families to think very hard before traveling at Christmas. He thinks his teenage son may have unwittingly passed on the virus. If you saw the look on my son's face when I was fighting for breath, you would not want to send these children in the country to see their family. The Prime Minister visits the North West did not rule out the possibility of England following Northern England Wales into the post-Christmas lockdown. Obviously, we were hoping very much that we'd be able to avoid anything like that, but the reality is the rates of infection have increased very much in the last few weeks. Here where I am in the Northwest, in the Bolton, we are actually a fantastic job in bringing it down. And the data shows that the case number are rising in most of the parts of the UK. The latest surveys of community infections by the statistics suggest that in England, 1 in 95 has the virus last week, with an increase in the case rate. Notably, in London, the southeast, the east, and the Midlands were declines in the areas. In Wales, 1 in 19, and Scotland 1 in 100, and there was an increase in the northern. In Ireland, 1 in 150, with case rate no longer decreasing. Inevitably, some of those become seriously ill and need hospital treatment, and that's what putting pressure on the NHS front line. There have been warnings on impact of staff. People from the first signs are very traumatized and fatigued, not only from physical but from the psychological impact with COVID and working in very different ways to ensure we're looking down the barrel of like the third wave. So we are concerned, and the impact of 5 days over Christmas is something we are concerned about as and many hospitals across the southeast are under increasing in Kent. They say cancel some non-urgent operations because of the increase in COVID patient numbers, as in other areas they need to be ready for possible surge into the new year. We'll have more from Hughes at the moment, but first, the figures on the ground show another rise in the infections. There were 28,507 new cases in the latest 24 hours period. The average number of new cases reported per day in the last week is 23,950. Number of people admitted to hospital is rising to 1,707 between now and last Sunday. 489 deaths were reported for the last 24 hours. And that's people who died within 28 days of COVID-19 positive test. There were 434 deaths per day. The total number of UK deaths is now 66,541. Well, Hugh is here now. Tell us more about the concern that we're learning about tonight surrounding this new variant of COVID-19. Well, Sophie, we learned on Monday about this new variant. Martha got the house. England announcing its comments, and it say it might be a factor in the bit of in the southeast of England that it wasn't clear at that stage. Now, what's emerged tonight is that there are still concerns about it possibly going concern whether it's a factor is how fast the virus is spreading. So it has to be said that scientists of Public Health England are still looking at the science behind it to know whether it really is a matter of concern, which mutation which should be expected. But clearly there's about the state of the NHS in all UK and the southeast of England. We've been hearing some hospitals performing routine work. Now the same in the southwest on the health board. And I think it was stopping some non-urgent work and crucially moving staff into the front line to deal with COVID patients in this hospital. Now you get this sort of thing sometime in January in the winter when you got a cold snap and you got flu, things has to be postponed because of frontline pressure. Very unusual to get this stage middle of December when flu or cold weather. So the worry is that what happens after Christmas is more mixing of household, more cases and a lot more pressure into January, just when the NHS is most busy. Thank you.